walk out on that field today, ask yourself this question.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We ready! We ready! We ready! We ready! And let's go to the house! And let's go to the house!
When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like.
Football is getting hit. That's it.
It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's go. Let's hunt. We ready? And let's go to the house. And let's go to the house.
We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how like we the Miami Heat of football. Yap. The bottom line is you got to buckle up your chin strap.
It's embarrassing.
Yap.
Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from them.
He's a man. They can be hit just like us. He's a man.
You already make the big money.
He's a man.
Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's war out there.
When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like.
Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world.
What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We ready? And let's go to the house. And let's go to the house. It's a wrap. Game over.
It's not a wrap. It is just getting started right here on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on ROKU TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. I'm AJ Jones, and you know what day it is. It's Talk Your Team Tuesday. Now, this is the day where you get to talk about whatever your team is doing in pro, football, basketball, baseball. You want to go down to the college level? I got you, because there were some good college games this past weekend. And then, of course, if you want to talk about something else, just get it in on Talk Your Team Tuesday, right here on the lunch break, powered by JM&E. And, I hope everybody had a great weekend. I hope everybody tuned in to Coach Cole's show, the HBCU Stroll, Johnny Cole's HBCU Stroll. He's been doing this other show that he's been providing content for, and we've been running that. So check it out. It's called The Coach's Corner. And it's pretty solid. It's pretty strong. So be sure and check that out. All right, y'all, man. This is the week we're going to announce a new winner in the Lunch Break Weekly, Keeping Up with the Joneses Pick'em Challenge. That's right. Somebody's going to win another $50, courtesy of our sponsors in this week's deal. And we will give you the standings. Last week's standings are not going to be this week's standings. I'm telling you, it's new. It's starting. And, man, people are moving up and down the ranks. So, get in. You still got a chance to get in. I spoke with CJ, and she's glad to be in. So, again, y'all, let's get ready, get at it. Keith Hennig said, hey, AJ, what's going on, brah? What's happening? Erica with a K, I see you. She's shouting over there at myself and Keith. You know, Keith got to give her love back, because that's what we do here on the lunch break. And my good dear friend, Tavonda Brown. Yeah, good afternoon, Pastor AJ. Hey, I'm not pastoring anymore. I still carry the title. My licenses are still intact. But, again, no longer the pastor at Cullen. Got to say congratulations to my brother like no other from a different mother, and that is Pastor Russell Thompson. I understand they had a phenomenal service on Sunday, and I want his success. I want y'all to support him. I want y'all to pray for that brother, keep him going, because, man, it's no easy task being the pastor over there at Cullen. So anyway, thank you, Tavonda. Let's stay connected. All right, man. All right. So let's get to some of these games, man. Let's start last night. Seattle. What? Seattle ran through the Giants in the Meadowlands, man. It should not go down like that, but that's exactly how it went down. So let's just go there. Let's go to last night's game. Last night, Geno Smith had a Bush League play on the back of his legs, man. The Giants, with a horse collar, landed on the back of his legs. Geno had to go under the tent, came out for a series. Drew Lock came in, but Geno came back and finished off what he started, a 24-3 beatdown of the New York Giants. And for all those Giant fans out there that thought you were going to come in and carry the momentum from the end of last season into this season, it ain't happening, man. It looks real ugly in the Meadowlands for the Giants, or Seattle's just that doggone good. I don't know which is which. I don't know what is what, but all I know is Seattle is 3-1, and they beat the snot out of the Giants last night. And again, for the way the Giants played, for the way that they, tried to take Geno out, again, I'm not trying to make it some kind of battle or rivalry or anything like that. It was just a Bush League play. It was just an inappropriate play. He got horse collared on the sideline, and something should have been done about it. It was not. Geno had to go out and come back in, and he came back in and finished off that butt whooping. So congratulations to Seattle, the team that everybody wanted to count out. Geno Smith, the quarterback, everybody wants to remember for a dumb fumble that happened so long ago. Most people don't even remember. All he's doing is racking up wins and staying consistent. So great win for Geno Smith and the gang last night. All right, Thursday night, remember it was the Lions beating the Packers. The Lions are 3-1. The Pack drops down to 2-2. My man didn't look good in that one. Jordan Love did not look good in that one. Dan Campbell and the Lions bounced back from a loss the week before. So again, the Lions got it together on Thursday night. So let's do this. Let's take a break. We'll come back with some more of our Sunday games. After this on the lunch break, powered by JM&E. Streaming live on ROKU TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. I'll be the guest host on Queen 3 and King tonight, as we have a special show for you. You don't want to miss this one. It's going to be a good one. Tune in tonight, 7 o'clock, Queen 3 and King podcast right here on Roku TV.
Alicia.
You can't hold somebody to that standard if you haven't voiced what you want and what you're needing from that.
Mika.
If you're not communicating expectations, you're waiting for your feelings to be hurt.
Nicole.
Yeah. A lot of people don't want to take the time out to be alone and to get themselves together.
Ivan.
You got to be willing to work through stuff. And from the jump street, y'all done had problems. Maybe you don't need to be working through those.
BS3 Network proudly presents Queen 3 and King podcast. Live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central. Discouragement, sorrow, distance. Your arguments cause damage to your family. The hurt leads to divorce. You feel like there is nowhere else to turn. But there is hope for you. That's where we come into play. There is an overcomer that lives inside of you. One ready to take on the world as you leap for joy, living in victory. You'll grow to love yourself and others. There's life after divorce, and you can claim it today. Get Over Divorce, where your new story begins here every Thursday on YouTube and Spreaker.
My name is Dennis Jeter, and I want $500 for lunch for keeping up with the Jonas Bracket Challenge.
All right, you still got time to get in this week. You don't have to play it in week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. You can get in on week number 5 and win $50 cash. And if some kind of way you end up in the top 6 at the end of the season, you can compete for $500 cash. So get in on the Lunch Break Weekly, Keeping Up with the Joneses Pick'em Challenge. There's no registration fee. There's no entry fee. You don't have to pick point spreads or anything like that. Just tell me who you think is going to win on the Thursday night game, all of the Sunday games, and then for the Monday night game, give me the exact final score for both teams. Again, give me the final score for the home team, final score for the visiting team, and get those into me by 5 p.m. on Thursday, Central Time, and you're in. All right? It's that simple. You can email them, you can text them, and you're in. All right, Tavonda said, go Eagles. Yeah, the Eagles took care of some business. In fact, I'm going to start with them. Tavonda, we'll talk about them next. All right, and then Keith Hennick says, are there really any Giants fans? Yeah, they got a big following, bro. They got a big following, and they really did think that they were going to pick up where they left off from last year, and that ain't what happened. All right, the Eagles remain undefeated. The Philadelphia Eagles remain undefeated with a nice 34-31 win over the Washington Commanders. And I believe that game went to overtime. But Jalen Hurts and the squad got it done. The defense took care of business when they had to and stopped the Commanders when they needed to. Again, 34-31 overtime victory. And they've got a commanding lead in the division. The only team really kind of knocking on the door close to them is Dallas, and that's what we expected. But, folks have been talking about Jalen Hurts not being flashy and, not putting up big numbers. Here's the biggest number that they've put up so far, 4-0. Those are the only numbers you need to worry about. Stop worrying about, what he's doing on the passing and throwing for 400 yards and 8 touchdowns in a game. The biggest number that you need to focus on if you're an Eagles fan is 4-0. There's only 2 undefeated teams in the league. The Eagles are one of them. That's what you need to be focusing on. Don't listen to these, fantasy naysayers and, big network pundits. I'm telling you, the biggest number that you need to focus on, 4-0. That's the number. So Devonta Brown said it. Go Eagles. Eagles are soaring and they're flying. They're taking care of their business. All right. So 2 teams that, really kind of, have been a surprise, I guess, met on this past weekend. It was the Jacksonville Jaguars coming off of an ugly loss to the Texans and the Falcons, who have been a surprise team in the NFC South. Well, it was all Jacksonville at home, just like I thought it would be. 23-7, Jacksonville got the win at home. The Falcons have already came out and said that they are going to continue with their young quarterback, second-year quarterback. He will continue to be their starter. The Falcons' big thing is running the ball. And they, weren't able to do that effectively against Jacksonville. This was a game that I thought would be an upset by the Dolphins on the road, and it was anything but. Buffalo, man, got a shot to be one of our top teams in the lunch break NFL power rankings. They beat Buffalo down 48-20, a game that was never in question. And again, for all of those saying that you cannot teach accuracy, I don't know. Josh Allen looks like one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the game. They took away the short passing and timing routes for Tua, and they ended up blowing up the Miami Dolphins 48-20. Tua, after the game, said that he felt like this was a loss that they needed to have. It got everybody awoke again. I like what one of the pundits did say. He said the 1972 Miami Dolphins team that went 17-0, won all the regular season games, won all the playoff games, and won their Super Bowl game. Only team to do that in NFL history. They never once said, man, we needed a ugly loss to motivate us to win the rest of them. They never once said we should have gone 16-1 so that we would be better. So while I get what Tua is trying to say, that pundit came up with a very good comeback to that. Listen, if you learn from a loss, great. You don't have to lose to learn. Just saying. All right, let's go to an ugly game. Both teams came into this game winless, the Vikings and the Panthers. Afterwards, it was Minnesota with a 21-13 win over Carolina. Remember, I said that if Bryce Young was out and Andy Dalton was in, I was going with Minnesota. If Bryce Young was in, I was going with Carolina. Well, again, Minnesota got the win 21-13. Let me take a break. Let me come back, and I got to talk about that Broncos-Bears game. Come back, got to talk about the Broncos and the Bears, but we got to take a break. We'll be right back with more right after this on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on ROKU TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. Again, I'll be the guest host tonight for Queen 3 and King at 7 o'clock. Don't miss it.
What do you get when you watch or listen to the Life Happens podcast? Well, I'll let them tell you.
Kim and I are both ministers of the gospel, and Black Habits Podcast is a beautiful balance by simply taking our spirituality with real life and merging it together to create a beautiful balance. And that's what we do.
BS3 Network proudly presents Life Happens Podcast, where Christianity and life intersect. Live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central. This is a BS3 Network presentation.
I want to show that attainability. I want to show the accessibility of this kind of lifestyle.
From social media to having conversations with friends and family, you always have to put on face and say face.
What brings a smile to my face is the one person that totally believes in me, and that's my beautiful wife, Jody.
I just had to stop because I didn't value myself. I didn't love myself. And it's like, I have to learn to love myself.
Changing the world one conversation at a time. This is Revelations.
When the man said that Sharifa Barksdale is on the verge, she's getting ready to set the world record. And I lost concentration and I fall off that hurdle. I was devastated.
Posición game ball de Canadá, dominando la prueba, y la estadounidense Sharifa Barksdale está en.
When I fell over that hurdle, it ended my career. And then all of a sudden, my coach grabs me by the throat. And I was going through some paperwork and seeing that he had spent 10 years in prison. And I was just like floored. It turned to domestic violence. I was terrified. So if I left, I don't know if I was going to die. My family didn't know if they was going to get a phone call to say that Sharifa was dead.
8910 radio, I said a vehicle took a shot at me. Southbound on East 95th.
Broke the U.S. record in the 400-meter hurdles. Represented the United States of America.
Imagine being on the biggest, fastest roller coaster that you have ever been on. That's the way my life was for 20 years.
I never had no trouble out of her being what she wanted to be. Because if this is what she wanted to be a runner, well, God bless her, and he did.
All right, hopefully coming to a theater or screen near you real soon, real soon. That's the last hurdle. That is the last hurdle. I want to shout out to everybody working behind the scenes again on that project now that the writer's strike is over. All right. It is Talk Your Team Tuesday right here on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on ROKU TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. All right, let me go back to this game that I want to talk about real quick. Bears and the Broncos. No two quarterbacks have been more maligned than the quarterback for the Broncos and the quarterback for the Bears. It's so bad that even the head coach for the Broncos is talking bad about the quarterback, about his quarterback for the Broncos. And everybody's starting to call Justin Fields a bust in Chicago. Let me just say this. On both of these teams, it's the same thing. And it's not the quarterbacks. It's the same thing. Eberflus and Peyton are stinking it up as head coaches for both of these teams. One quarterback threw for 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. The other quarterback threw for 4 touchdowns and 1 interception. And you mean to tell me it's the quarterback? No. The defense for the Bears just absolutely just collapsed. And the Broncos defense gave up a 70-piece a week ago. So you cannot tell me that the quarterbacks are the problem in either one of these teams. In fact, if they would let these quarterbacks cook and give them some players and some plays to work with, then guess what? We'd be looking at a whole different scenario. But again, both these organizations, it's coaching. It ain't playing. Again, the Broncos 31-28 over the Bears, and Justin Fields threw for 4 touchdowns and 1 INT, but he's the problem. Yeah, right. Miss me on that one. All right, so the Ravens went into Cleveland and did what I did not think that they can do. Obviously, the big difference was that Deshaun Watson did not play. They went with a 5th-round draft pick at quarterback starting. But again, it was all Ravens. And for those who say that Lamar Jackson cannot play from the pocket, guess what? He did, and he played well. 28-3 final score there. I'll get back to his stats in just a minute. Pittsburgh Steelers ran into the team that sneaky getting good. They won 2 in a row. They're tied with everybody else in the AFC South. The Houston Texans, 30-6 over the Steelers, and it was no fluke. They won in every phase of the game, just like they did a week before against Jacksonville. They inducted J.J. Watt, arguably their best player, into their Ring of Honor with a win, and it was an impressive win. The defense did its job. It exposed the Pittsburgh Steelers offense and their offensive coordinator, and the offense did its job. It lit up the scoreboard. 30 points in the win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Congratulations to the Texans. And I got to admit, the Texans line after the game, several of the players saying the same thing. It was personal. People saying that they could not protect rookie quarterback C.J. Stroud got personal for them. And for the second game in a row, they did not allow a sack. The Texans could win three games in a row for the first time in forever if they find a way to beat the Falcons this coming Sunday at noon. All right, the Rams got a win over the Colts. Rams are hanging in there at 2-2. Colts dropped to 2-2, 29-23. Again, a game that went to overtime. Buccaneers beat up on the Saints 26-9. I'm not a Dennis Allen fan, and they're not looking good, and it wasn't Jameis Winston's fault because Derek Carr played. 26-9. Buccaneers over the Saints. Baker Mayfield, you know how he went. All right, we also got to talk about the Cincinnati Bengals. They are in trouble. I know it's early. It's 1-3 on the young season. But when you get beat down like that, 27-3 by Tennessee, a team that was struggling, I don't know, Cincinnati. This is not looking good. Cincinnati Bengals walked on 27-3. Chargers finally put a couple of good games together. They beat the Raiders 24-17. I know they're happy. Cowboys all over the Patriots 38-3. Final score there. I don't think any team has had a larger margin of victory for a season than the Cowboys are having right now, and that includes that 70-piece that got put on the Denver Broncos the other day by Miami. Again, Cowboys are rolling. That defense is something special, and they've got enough on the offense not to get out of the way. Cardinals, after their big win over the Cowboys, could not do the same against a very good 49ers team. They lost 35-16. And then it was the Jets losing to the Kansas City Chiefs. I know the Jets want to make it about calls and referees and all that kind of stuff. Let me tell you, Kansas City was the better team. They got the win 23-20. All right, so what we're going to do real quick, I'm going to take a quick break. When I come back, I want to look at the standings. I wanted to look at the standings in each one of the divisions. Keith Hennick said Sean Payton is very overrated. Absolutely. Donna Coleman said, hey, comrade. So, again, let's see who we got here. Let's put this person on. Hi, Daddy. I don't know if I'm your dad. I'm sorry. I don't think I am. Yeah, that's creepy. Let me go take a break. We'll be right back right after this on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on ROKU TV, courtesy of BS3 TV.
This is a BS3 network presentation. Politics.
They'll write the law, but they'll enforce it differently. Is that going to apply both ways?
Religion.
God never said that we can't reason together. Matter of fact, he said, let us sit and reason together.
Relationship.
I believe that everybody wants and needs somebody.
From a man's perspective.
They say, girls, if I put some polish on that and Get him to buy some different clothes, because he could be a winner chicken dinner.
Join the thought engineer.
There's nothing wrong with me developing my piece and you developing your piece, but understand the goal is to come together.
And comedian John Yogi.
Negro, I don't need you putting on no chapstick up there in the pulpit. You do that over there in your chair.
Get ready for
Monday.
Live every Monday at 7 p.m. Central. If you're looking for a sports program that gives you the flavor.
Washington Commanders? Really?
This whole thing stinks to high heaven.
That pulls no punches.
Thuggish act by a thuggish actor.
That gives you some humor.
Praise everything LeBron does and never criticize it.
If you want a show that gives you good times, then this is that show. BS3 Network proudly presents.
I am Cole Johnson, and welcome to
Cole Sports with a Z. Every Friday on Patreon and every Saturday on YouTube, Spreaker, and all other outlets.
My name is JM&E, and I won $500 on the lunchman in the Keeping Up with the Joneses Bracket Challenge.
All right, again, got to get your picks in by Thursday, 5 o'clock. You tell me who's going to win the Thursday night game, all of the Sunday games, and then the Monday night game. Give me the exact final score for the home team and the exact final score for the away team, and get those to me. You can text them 832-403-5005. That's 832-403-5005, or email them aj@jonesmediaandent.com, and you are in. No registration fee needed. And then we will announce the winner tomorrow, because somebody is going to win another $50 as a result of their picks from week number 4. All right, real quick. Donna Coleman-Holman says, tell the Jets Zach Wilson ain't going to cut it. Facts. But I do think Rodney Harrison went too far. Rodney Harrison calling that man trash on national TV is too far. Rodney Harrison got to be better, man. Like, learn journalistic concepts and things that you're supposed to know for your craft. That ain't one of them. So yeah, I was glad to see Jones not take the bait and not go with Harrison on that discussion. Zach did what he needed to do to get his team back in that game. So to call him trash was a little weak. Bill Belichick needs TB12. I think that's been proven. We always wondered who was the dominating fact. Bill Belichick has not won another championship without TB12. TB12 has won another championship without Bill Belichick. So I think that's fact. And then Donna said he had Jimmy G. Yeah, that whole thing with getting Jimmy G out of New England needs to be looked at a little bit more. Okay. I said I was going to look at something. Let me do this real quick. Before I get too far away from it. Obviously, the NCAA football had their big weekend and what have you. The big game was UCLA knocking off Colorado, and a lot of the Colorado haters want to talk about that game. Let me just say something. Colorado was on the comeback. They were getting blown out by 20, and they ended up losing by 7. Final score 48-41. You say what you want to say about Colorado. Oh, these 2 games prove that they're not who everybody says that they were. They lost to 2 of the best teams in the country. They got a better chance. Watch this. They got a good chance to have a better record than both of them, because both of them have some tough opponents coming up. Not saying Colorado doesn't. So all I'm saying is, look at what Sanders is doing to turn around his program and stop trying to put that down. Stop trying to put Deion Sanders down, Coach Deion Sanders down as a person. Stop trying to put the Colorado program down as a program, because both are on the come up. Both have been are better than they were before. So, you know, that's the one thing. I will say this: Georgia and Alabama are not who everybody thought that they were. Georgia and Alabama are not the programs that everybody thought that they were, and everybody's going to keep putting them up in the ratings. Georgia should not be number one right now. Michigan should be. Georgia is barely scraping by. South Carolina barely got by in their last week win. Georgia is going to get beat this year in the regular season. They're going to get beat this year in the regular season. Alabama has already got 2 losses. So I'm just saying, man, Clemson, 2 losses. You know, all these teams that everybody's touting as the best teams right now, Michigan should be number 1, and then you can go down from there. But it should not be Georgia. They are barely getting by. Congratulations to the Houston Astros. Not only did they sweep the Arizona Diamondbacks, but they came from behind to win the American League West. So they got a bye through the first week. They'll start their playoff action on Saturday. Obviously, the Orioles were the best team in the American League. They are the number 1 team. They, too, got a bye. The odd man out was Seattle. I need to find one of the Seattle players' foundations so I can donate some money to it, because they helped get the Astros the AL West championship. So somebody's going to get some money over there. Kim Negrete, Coach Sanders is doing an amazing job. And, you know, we as a culture got to recognize it. Because, again, we see that more people are against him, trying to be against him, than we got folks speaking up for him. So I, for one, am going to speak up. Keith Hennick, Longhorn should be, you know, they got a solid argument. I think they're up to 3 in most polls. They should be ahead of Georgia. Clearly, they should be ahead of Georgia. If Georgia and UT played right now, I'd put all my money on UT. I would. And I'm slowly becoming a fan of their head coach. I don't like what he did when he was at Washington. I don't like what he said and stuff he did at USC, but he seems to have kind of turned himself around. So I'm liking what I'm seeing down there at UT. So again, we talk baseball, we talk college football, we talked NFL. Tomorrow we will announce the winner of the Lunch Break Weekly Keeping Up with the Joneses Pick'em Challenge. Somebody's going to win $50 tomorrow. We'll give you the power rankings for quarterbacks in the NFL. We'll give you power rankings for the NFL itself, and we'll give you SWAC power rankings, because, again, I'm spending my time and resources on the teams that give me access and the teams that make my job easy. So, as always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I truly do love you. There is nothing you can do about it except tune in tomorrow for Winning Wednesday right here on the Lunch Break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on ROKU TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. Again, tonight I'll be guest hosting on Queen 3 and King podcast. It's going to be a great show. Got a surprise for you. Tune in tonight at 7 o'clock.
My name is JM&E, and I won $500 on the lunch break for keeping up with the Joneses Bracket Challenge.
Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today, it's Tuesday, October 3rd, 2023. Number 1, LaFonza Butler was appointed by California Governor Gavin Newsom to replace longtime Senator Dianne Feinstein, who died last week at the age of 90. In 2021, Butler became the president of Emily's List, which works to elect Democratic women. The Mississippi-born Jackson State University graduate will be the 3rd Black woman to ever serve in the U.S. Senate and the first openly LGBTQ person to represent California in the U.S. Senate. Number 2, student loan payments are back in motion after a pandemic pause, stirring concerns particularly among young Black borrowers who are disproportionately affected by the student debt crisis. Despite ongoing advocacy, the Biden administration is reactivating all student loan accounts, affecting over 28 million borrowers, the majority of whom are Black women. President Biden, who pledged relief during his 2020 campaign, introduced an on-ramp repayment program, allowing borrowers to skip monthly payments for a year with reduced consequences. Number 3, should you get behind the wheel after taking antihistamines? Medications containing antihistamines, drugs which counteract the effect of histamines, can help relieve many different types of allergies, including hay fever and food allergies. But some antihistamines can make you feel drowsy, unfocused, and slow to react. So always check the label to see what side effects could affect your ability to to get behind the wheel. Number 4. An Indianapolis, Indiana grand jury indicted officers Carl Chandler and Alexander Gregory for the December 31st, 2022 shooting of Anthony Backlett. The officers faced several charges, including 2 counts of aggravated battery. At the time of the shooting, the 24-year-old black man was asleep in his car with a gun next to him in the driver's seat in his grandmother's driveway when the officers knocked on the window and then opened fire. Number 5. As this year, comes to a close, many taxpayers are looking for ways to give back and optimize their tax deductions. Did you know that if you make a single charitable contribution of $250 or more, you must obtain a written acknowledgement from that organization? Our celebrity CPA, Katrina M. Kraft, asks all the right questions when it comes to your charitable tax donations in today's newsletter. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. A single act of compassion can resonate far beyond the moment. It could be life-changing. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with comedian Damon Williams, producer Ahmed Gordon, and contributor Cameron Riley as we discuss the day's top headlines and more. Thank you to our What You Need to Know partners, the American Heart Association and Black Health Matters. Barbara Scotia College is an HBCU in Concord, North Carolina, and it needs our help. The What You Need to Know team is asking supporters and alumni and friends of Barbara Scotia to help them meet their immediate and pressing needs by donating to help Barbara Scotia rise. Please join the thousands of donors from around the world who are stepping up to save one of the nation's oldest HBCUs. Visit SybylWilkes.com for more information. Check out a celebration of Black filmmakers rooted in the HBCU culture. That's November 10th through the 12th at Howard University's Blackburn Center. I'm Sybil Wilkes. Be informed, be empowered.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.